I thought I was going to make $100,000 on my first launch. It is a really common thing that it is no wonder you think that when that is the message given to you across social media by many mentors and coaches in this digital product space. They make it seem like it's so easy to make tens of thousands, hundreds of thousands, or even $1 million a year. Follow my blueprint and you can get this too. And it can constantly leave you feeling like you're not doing enough, things aren't happening fast enough. There's something wrong with me, or I'm not good enough. And today I want to talk about that because it's just not true. I have done hundreds of consultation calls with Kajabi clients over the last few years. And a really, really common theme is people saying, oh, yeah, but I thought this would be doing more. I set this goal and I haven't achieved it. Like, what have I done wrong? And I'm here to say you haven't done anything wrong. You are right where you are supposed to be. Do not get sucked in by the messages of this being easy, because this business that we're in is far from easy, and that's the unsexy truth. There is a lot to learn when you start in a digital product business, especially if you have never done a digital product business before, and doubly so if you've never run your own business before, full stop, if you've never created a website before, if you barely even understand what a funnel is, if you haven't run Facebook ads before, you've never created online training, social media marketing is new to you, you've not created YouTube videos, editing YouTube videos is a whole new skill, even just running your business in general, staff, contractors, all those things add up. Learning new software tools. There is a lot, and I really, really am going to encourage you to give yourself some grace, because in addition to starting this digital product business, you are shifting your identity into that of a business owner, and you are taking on all of those roles. Often it is just you, or maybe you and just one other team member, if you're lucky, maybe just you and a family member, and you're running it together and you are scrabbling around everything, and you're spending a lot of time watching YouTube tutorials, blog posts. Maybe you've bought some courses and you're following the blueprint, and it is damn hard. It's going to be damn hard. There is no blueprint, secret shortcut, plug it all in, and suddenly you're going to become a millionaire. It's a bit of a falsity that is perpetuated by this online industry. It's perpetuated by people that are selling their blueprints and their, hey, just do this process, do what I've done, and you are going to be successful. And it doesn't take into account the complicated situations that many people are in, the experience level that you have, the budget you have, the team that you have. There are so many factors that go into it. So I'm going to encourage you not to look at what other people are doing, not to feel like you are behind if you see someone else has just done a huge launch and you haven't been able to achieve the same thing, because everyone is on their own path and their own journey and is learning at their own pace. So please, please give yourself a little bit of credit and a little bit of grace for those situations. You are becoming a copywriter, a website designer, a sales strategist, a digital product creator, a video editor, a marketer, a teacher, a CEO, and that is going to take time. It's going to take time to learn how to be all of those roles in your business. If you're going to delegate, it takes time to learn how to delegate and to do it effectively, and to actually find team members that are going to be able to help you in the way that you need and produce the quality of work that you want, and learn your business. Like, often even things like getting a VA is like oh, just get a VA and you'll, free up 20 hours of your time. Well, you may, after you train them and you go through the process of finding the VA and they learn the things that they need to learn and you set up operating procedures, all of these things take time. And, like I said, it's no wonder that you can feel like you're behind or you're not doing enough if you're a few months or even 6 months in and you are not seeing the same success that someone else has been shouting all over Instagram and talking about all the amount of money that they're making. You'll see a lot of that, but you don't see a lot of the reality that it takes time, it takes effort, and things like that to get set up. But in terms of like going on your own path and your own journey, one of the most important things I think to start with is clarifying what you actually want. Because if you see someone else's, oh, I made $100,000 selling a course on how to make candy apples, that was the thing that sucked me in. I was like, hey, if you can do that, you can do anything, right? If you see that and hold yourself to the same level, like, oh, well, if someone can make that on candy apples, surely I can make that selling, insert course in the thing that you want to sell, then it can leave you feeling like you are falling short. But the thing that you don't know is you don't know how much money they spent on ads, how much team they had, how long they had spent building an audience before they launched that course, how many people are already in their world and already following them on YouTube, on social media, etc. How much they spent, like I said, to run, ads to that program. There are 100 factors that you don't know when you just see that end result. You don't know how profitable that income was. So what I would really, really recommend for you is to clarify what success means for you. What is success? Is it that, you want to be able to earn enough money to be able to quit your job? And if that is the case, what does that mean? Does that mean, all right, well, I need to have X amount of dollars in some kind of an emergency fund, like kind of safety backup runway? And when you've got that much in there, then that will make you feel comfortable. Is it that you need to be knowing that you're going to generate a certain amount per month, kind of pretty much guaranteed, like that monthly recurring revenue? So you don't want to be relying on launches. Is it that you've got a runway already and you just know that by the time 6 months is up, if you're going to quit your job, you have to be at the level of your salary now every month or every year, that you need to be able to generate enough revenue so that your digital product business is going to be able to pay you the same salary. Maybe you're like, well, if I could just do a digital business and work from home and have a whole lot less stress, I'll be happy with half of that salary. That is going to be so different and unique to everyone. Maybe you are doing this because, you are in retirement or semi-retirement and you've done something your whole life that didn't fulfill you. And now you're like, I want to do something that I actually love. So it's not necessarily a monetary goal. Maybe it's an impact goal, the number of people that you want to help. Now, like I said, that is going to be so different for everyone and it's really unique to you. So I'd strongly recommend to take some time to actually work out, what does success mean? What is the thing that when you get it, you will find yourself going, yes, I've hit this level of success. And maybe you'll hit it and chase another goal. The problem is when you don't have that defined is you never know when you get there. And so you can't actually feel that sense of satisfaction. If you were just chasing after some arbitrary monetary goal that someone else has set, or someone claiming they're successful because they made $1 million, but making money isn't something that's as important to you. You're like, no, freedom is my important, like time freedom. If I could spend 20 hours more a week on my hobbies, on spending time with my family, that is my win. If I can make, enough money to do that, working out what that money is, whatever that goal is, track it back to you and to your success so that you can then be like, when you get there, that's when you crack the champagne. Like obviously, if you are doing other things and you feel like that is really successful, then that's awesome. And you can celebrate every little moment. I am big on the celebrations. I'm like a cheerleader. However, if you don't know what success means, if you haven't defined that, you can keep working for 10 years and that may remain fuzzy. You may never feel that sense of success because you've never got to the point that you wanted. And if it is a monetary goal, maybe you are someone who's like, I want to buy a Lamborghini. And that is what is success to you. And when you hit that, you'll be like, yes, I've done it. And you'll drive around in your car and that will be your moment. It doesn't matter. That's the thing where you get to decide, and it doesn't matter what other people are getting to decide and what other people's version of success is. If you can work out, what that is to you, it's going to help you moving forward. Now, when you are getting to that goal, there's a few things to consider. Firstly, I love this analogy. I'm not a huge fan of the book, I've got to say, of James Clear's Atomic Habits, but this thing stuck in my head and I always find myself referring back to it. It was the ice cube melting analogy. When you are working something, sometimes when you're working on something really hard, it can feel like you're not getting anywhere. It can feel like, oh my God, I've done so much work and I'm not achieving the success. I'm not doing enough. It's not happening fast enough. And that could just be because you are not seeing it. So the analogy is talking about an ice cube. Now, I may get the actual degrees of temperature wrong, but you'll get the idea. That when you take an ice cube out of the freezer and put it in a room at, say, 0 degrees, whatever freezing is, and then you heat that room up 1 degree at a time. For the first 20 odd degrees, so, maybe you'd heat it up and every hour you would, 1 more degree would go up. The ice cube isn't going to do much. It's going to just sit there in its ice cube state. You're not going to see a whole lot of change. Maybe when it gets to sort of 15 degrees, so after quite a long time, it'll start to melt a little on the edge, but it'll still be very much an ice cube shape, still, pretty close to its original form. But then it hits this point, so it's like ding, 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 all the work's happening, all things are happening in the background. You're not seeing any change. And again, I wish I knew the actual percentage, but let's just say at 25 degrees, that's when the change starts happening. And all of a sudden, the change is incredibly rapid and things will move very quickly. And if you had given up and was like, oh, nothing's happening back at 15 degrees when it just had, some condensation on the outside of the ice cube, it's kind of discounting all the things and steps that had to happen to get to that point. And it's that whole keep going. And, there's another analogy which I find a little bit cheesy, but it's that, when someone's digging for gold and they dig and dig and dig and there's this huge tunnel and then they're just like, there's no gold. And, you see the picture where the gold is like millimeters away if they just kept digging a little bit further. It's that concept. It's the same concept like when you are investing or when you're losing weight or you're trying to put on muscle. These things don't happen straight away. They happen with time and with continual progress. So trying to shortcut it can sometimes be really, really frustrating. And trust me, I know I tried to shortcut. I came up against all the frustrations and, felt so down on myself for not achieving these goals that I had set based on basically what I'd seen other people being able to achieve. And I was like, hey, I've run a $3 million multinational product business. I can just transfer those skills into digital products and kind of have a bit of rude slap in the face awakening when it didn't transfer quite as easily as it was. I was like, I've been the CEO of a multinational company. Why am I not able to make this happen really quickly? That's because there is so much to learn. There are so many things to understand. You've got to build your audience. You've got to have great products. You've got to find an effective way to sell them. Make sure that you are really highlighting the value and the outcomes, not just focus on what it is. No one's going to be like, oh, great, I want to buy 120 course lessons. They want to buy what that thing does. And that's the copywriting skills and the marketing skills. And all those things have got to be learned and you get better and better at it over time. So give yourself grace. Things are happening. You are building momentum. So please just keep working on it and not focus on what that arbitrary goal is. Have those measures of success and maybe look at the things that you are doing along the way. Make little success points so that you can be like, okay, cool. Like, I've had people register for, my webinar. I love celebrating the fact that someone launches more than what the outcome of the launch is, especially for the first time, because just the fact that you have got to launch, that you have put yourself out there and actually gone through a launch and put your product into the world is more than probably 80% of people do. A lot of people never even get to that point. So don't forget to celebrate those things. Every time you do that, every time you put in the reps and learn these skills and do more and more, you are going to get better and better and get better results. That whole consistency thing, it's something that's very easy to forget, especially if you are an impatient person. I'm an impatient person. I'm the one who's like, all right, I want to save $10,000. So how can I work 48 hours a day to shortcut that? So I don't need to be scrimping and saving for a year. I want to get it done in 2 months. That's where you get to burnout. It's the same thing, if you're trying to lose weight and you're like, all right, I'm not going to eat anything. I'm just going to go on full starvation. And sure, you might see some quick wins, but it's not sustainable. And, it's the same with building a digital business. You need to do things in a sustainable way. Yes, you can have a little bit of hustle at the beginning, but give yourself the time. Let it happen. This isn't the type of business, despite what a lot of gurus will tell you, that you can build in weeks or months. It is repeated actions that you do over and over again. That is the thing that makes it sustainable over years and doesn't make it some flash in the pan where you'll sell a course and then you'll just be like, I don't even know if I want to do this. It was just all too hard. So if you want to build a sustainable business, give yourself time to build that business. The other thing that I want to talk about is the fact when you are focused on what you haven't done and what you haven't achieved, it's really, really easy to miss out on celebrating the things that you have achieved. This is probably the thing I don't want to say, I don't hate myself for it, but I get frustrated with myself because sometimes I just don't look at those wins and I keep going, oh, but what's the next thing and the next thing? And celebrating those small wins and really actually appreciating you and looking at the work that you've done to get there is really, really important. And if you can't do it, like even getting someone else to help celebrate with you, because you are doing way more than many, many people. You are out there doing that. And so many people that come into this creator and digital product space will get stuck at the first hurdle. And the fact that you're keeping on going and you're doing it deserves to be celebrated. Maybe it's even celebrating the things that are the non kind of sexy wins. It's not the $100,000 launch, but the fact that you sent 5 emails this week or this month, or even the fact that you sent one, even your first email, like that can be super, super scary. Maybe you're going to celebrate the fact that you set a goal to be like, all right, I'm going to put 4 pieces of content out this month, 1 per week. And whether it's a podcast, like an email, a blog post, social media content, whatever it is, set yourself an achievable goal and then celebrate yourself when you do it. Because if you put 4 pieces of content out there that are about you, your business, your values, the things that you are selling, you are creating 4 essentially digital salespeople that are going to keep working for you forever to be selling you and your brand. And next month, if you do another 4 and another 4, these things are going to compound over time. So it's these micro wins that are going to allow you to build momentum, and it's important to celebrate them. Give yourself a pat on the back and not just let it go and go, oh, it's not a big deal, it's just what I have to do. It is a big deal. It is a big deal to launch your first product. It is a big deal to set up your first upsell and your first order bump, and to actually go through a launch, maybe to create a quiz, a lead magnet, to get your first 100 leads, to get your first sale. These are all things that are really exciting and important milestones. And if you don't have anyone in your world that's going to share the excitement, tell me. I'll share your excitement. I am the person who, like, I have pom-poms. I'll be like, yes, oh my gosh, you've done it. Like, I love sharing that excitement because I know how much it means. I still remember the moment that the first stranger bought my course back in 2019. It was like a $59 sale. And seriously, I acted as if I had won the lotto. Like, I was running around the house being like, oh my God, it worked. Like someone bought my course. And I still have the screenshot because these things are a big deal. It's important, and it gives you the momentum to keep going. So if there's no one in your world that gets it, if you tell someone, oh, I just made my first sale, or I just, got my first person on my email list, and it's like, oh, okay, because they don't understand it, tell me, I'll celebrate with you. And something you can do as well is email your future self once you've done something. Say you have set up your welcome email sequence. Email yourself for the future. So there is a service where you can email yourself into the future. I think it's called like Future Me or something like that. But if you don't have that, just set up an email in your system and set it to send at a date in the future, maybe 3 months, maybe 6 months in the future, and congratulate yourself in that email. You'll completely forget that you even wrote that email and just be like, hey, future Sue, I just wanted to give you some words of encouragement because today you set up your first sequence, your first email sequence, or your first lead magnet, whatever it is, funnel, whatever. And you probably didn't think it was that much of a big deal, but it was. I want you to go back and look at how that's helping you now. Like, if you've done your first YouTube video, send yourself an email and be like, hey, we launched the first video today, 0 views right now, but what's it doing today? And then you can go back and look, and it will give you that, oh my God, yes, I did achieve something. That did help me. So, that's just a little fun extra strategy. But keep a log of your wins. Give yourself on those days when you're like, oh my God, I haven't done enough. Like, things aren't happening fast enough, when you get really frustrated. You're like, why isn't there more? Why isn't there more income, more people, like more? Look at what you've achieved and what you've done. Make it like a little happy thing just to remind yourself, yes, you are achieving and you are doing. And, when you do things really quickly, it can result in burnout. Feel like I'm a bit of an anti-burnout warrior right now, but that's because I see that happening. Like, I see people just pushing themselves so hard to create these huge courses and super complicated funnels and setting up all these pages and, different situations and multi-step webinars and, challenges that sap the energy out of them, and all these things can just then, when it doesn't work, make it feel like it wasn't worth it, especially if you've spent 3 months, 6 months setting all this stuff up, and then maybe it doesn't have the outcome that you wanted, possibly because you didn't do enough work on audience building. But you've got to do all these things in combination. You've got to keep things even across your business, and that create a growth loop of being visible and bringing people into your world and creating value and then making offers. If you've spent a lot of time doing something and it didn't have the outcome that you wanted, it is incredibly defeating. I know how defeating that it can be, but just that's why it's so important to focus not on what didn't happen, like didn't get the sales that you wanted or the income that you wanted or the number of people signing up to your program. Congratulate yourself on what you achieved by setting everything up, But just realize that when you set all of that up, next time that you use that, you should be reusing assets like that you set up. So when you launch next time, maybe you'll only have 20% of the work. So it'll be a lot easier. So you can do more on that audience growth stuff because the actual stuff is set up. But B, give yourself time to rest. If you sprint that through and you get so exhausted from doing all of that and doing the course and then launching and it doesn't work, that is the point where a lot of people give up. And I don't want you to give up. I want you to keep going. I want you to look at ways that potentially you can make things easier for yourself, that you don't need to work so hard. You can look for simple wins. There are ways to make things work, and there are ways, if you've already got all those assets set up, that you can reuse them again. So make this sustainable. Remember that these are repeatable processes. They are not one-off things, and that every time you do it, you will learn more and you will get better. Sometimes it's a case of just putting in the reps. The more you do it, the more you put YouTube videos out there, the more you do live streams, the more podcast episodes that you make, the more that you sell and get more comfortable with it, the more that you email your list. All these things are building reps and building your own confidence and building your skills, which is so, so important. This is a long game, I'm assuming, for most of you. If you're wanting to do something that's like a flash in the pan, make $1 million, I'm probably not going to be the right mentor for you. But if you're wanting something that is sustainable, not just to today, not just for this year, but this is a sustainable business that you can have for multi-years, that is what I'm all about. I want to help you build something that is going to be able to generate income for you now and in 10 years' time without burning you out. So think about it. Would you rather just have some crazy sprint and at the end of it you lose all enthusiasm? Or would you rather build something that took a little bit longer and felt like it was going to be sustainable and something that you're going to be able to keep doing? Just some final notes. You're not behind. You're building. You are doing this. You are doing this. Please congratulate yourself for doing this, honestly. And if you're feeling like, I wish someone else could feel the joy, message me, DM me if you want, if you don't want to put a comment on publicly, because I will share that joy with you, because I know how important it is. And I know how much it means. If you keep taking the right actions, you keep building, you're going to build momentum. You are going to get that traction going. Your ice cube is going to melt and it is going to happen. But also remember, this is a business that you're building. It's not a lottery ticket. Make sure your expectations are realistic and they're aligned to you and what you want your business to be. That's one of the most important things. Who cares what anyone else is doing? Shut off the noise. You get to do it your way. This is your business, and set the goals on your own lifestyle choices and what's going to be important to you. I am Sue McLachlan from the Unicorn Advisory. If you would like to join the podcast of this series, access any resources that I have referred to, I think we're up to episode 14 now, go to theunicornadvisory.com/this. If you would like to get an email so you know when I'm going to be going live, you can join me live if you like, or just catch the replay, binge it all on YouTube, or listen on the podcast, whichever you prefer. And I will be back again tomorrow talking about what to do if you are allergic to funnels. If you're like, oh my God, please I never want to do another funnel again, or you're just like, I don't even want to do a funnel at all. There are alternatives. The funnel is not the be all and end all. So I'm going to be sharing that with you tomorrow. I hope you have a beautiful rest of your day, and I am going to see you again real soon. Bye.